And a very warm welcome to So This is Thailand. I'm Valerie Mackenzie. Sawadee ka.
I'm Johan Wimonchalau. Swadee krap.
And I'm Tapani Manawet. สวัสดีค่ะ
So the talk of the week, I suppose, has all been about futsal, has it not? I know you're going to cover it later on in the program, but futsal, nobody actually went out to promote this event, and yes, we won it as against other countries. What's gone wrong with the system that we don't get things ready on time?
Well, it seems that the problem with any sport, not just futsal, is Thais really get behind it when there's a winning team. But if it's not that well known or not well publicized, they're kind of not. I mean, it's rather unfortunate if you look at it, because Thailand has actually performed very well, and we'll find out in the review later on. And we have a brand new stadium, and it seems that we really focus on.
Well, we don't have the brand new stadium.
We don't.
That's the problem.
But you would think that with all the tourism that it would bring in, I mean, it's not just a stadium for this one particular event, but it's really the fact that it's a World Cup being held here. So
yes, it's a shame because we won it, and we should be showcasing the country and what we have on offer at the highest level, but obviously we're not doing that at the moment. But I guess, it's like every other event here. When the people arrive, we'll just put on the best show on earth. So for those of you coming to Thailand, it's only a couple of days before the start of the event. Enjoy every moment of our country, and of course we wish you all luck in the individual games. Who's going to be talking about our first subject today, which is fizzy drinks?
Well, fizzy drinks, that would be me, because having some experience with this over in the U.S., where carbonated drinks in schools especially has been a big topic, a big issue, and really there was a really big movement, especially in the West, to remove all that junk food from schoolroom cafeterias, from vending machines. But the problem that we're having here in Thailand now is all the carbonated drink manufacturers, producers out there are really pushing hard. There's a lot of advertisements, a lot of campaigns out there, and they're actually handing out over 1 million free cans. And the big problem with this is, there's health organizations there who are trying to promote reducing the amount of soda in our diet because of the high sugar content. Now, obviously, lots of sugar in small children, young children, is going to lead to diabetes, obesity, all sorts of health-related issues later in life. And they're feeling, they're kind of, let's say, angry at the manufacturer, saying, would you please stop doing the campaigning? Now, unfortunately, I don't think you can tell any manufacturer out there, please stop advertising your product. And so they're trying to find other means of encouraging youth to at least, all right, if you're going to consume, at least balance that out with some exercise.
But one of the things that I find really ridiculous, it says actually that they're going to give 1 million cans free. So by giving 1 million cans free, many of those cans are going to the schools. The Ministry of Education are against it, but the schools are still taking the cans or the bottles or whatever they are. So, you've got to look at your system internally to make sure that you're actually in control. I mean, Big Cola entered the market, a year or so ago? So you've got Big Cola, Pepsi, Coke. They're all going to be out there trying to get every piece of the market, but obviously youth is where they're going to go.
And also, to be quite fair, it's very easy to kind of vilify the big companies, but if you take a look at the Thai diet, or cha yen, is heaps and heaps of sugar. Cafe yen, everything that we drink, the pink milk that kids like to drink has also got loads and loads of syrup in it. So it's kind of trying to educate them and balance out their whole diet. That's going to be more effective in the long run, rather than saying, oh, big companies don't hand out these free drinks just for a week or two. It's not going to work.
Well, I'm sure that the market's going to increase and increase and increase, and that's just the way it is here. We like to have very sweet things here in Thailand for whatever reason.
Well, if you look at the recent changeover for Pepsi, how they just switched distributors, and the old distributor Samsung is actually going to produce their own brand of cola, and Pepsi just announced that they're going to have a new campaign out there. So, telling people not sell their product because of the health thing is not the way to go. And especially, you have to think, well, what are the parents doing? You should be educating your children to understand that it's your responsibility to make sure they have a balanced diet and to inform the schools. I don't want that in my school system.
At our home, it's 1 Pepsi a week for the kid.
The thing is, when you try to ration it, it makes it even more desirable.
That's the problem.
When you tell kids you can't have this, then it becomes such a treat to have like a fizzy drink, and you want more. So
experience talking.
What to do?
What's happening with PC Air? The license has been suspended, as I understand.
Right. Well, PC Air is a privately owned airline, which is owned by someone in Thailand.
Mr. Peter Chan.
Oh, really?
PC.
Is that so? I was trying to find out, and You know everything. Well, the Department of Civil Aviation has grounded the operations of PC Air so far because of an incident that happened in Seoul recently. Apparently, PC Air has owed a fueling company nearly 10 million baht. So when they did arrive in Seoul last week, they couldn't pay their refueling expenses. They refused to fuel up the plane, and it left a lot of passengers stranded in South Korea. So the Department of Civil Aviation has said that they will suspend the license of this until they can further investigate and find out what happened, which is good for the passengers, I guess.
Well, if the passengers, I mean, the passengers that were in Seoul have finally got back.
Yes.
And I guess they've got to be able to be compensated. And the ones that were here, I assume, also were, well, I don't know, did they go or they didn't go? But, you know, we've had this problem before with these one-off airlines, these charter airlines. We saw it with Orient Thai not so many years ago. And it's a big issue. I think that the whole system needs to be looked at as far as, you know, who's behind, do they have the finances to continue? You may recall that when PC Air, in fact, started, it actually got all the publicity in the world because it actually appointed the cabin crew who were third gender. And how many of that there were, we're not sure, but that's how they got their publicity, that's how they got their machine going. But, you know, you'd have to ask the question, the most important thing in flying is safety, surely. And one aircraft, our charter, what's happening if you can't pay your bills? What's happening to the servicing of the aircraft?
Right.
So I think the government needs to be a bit tougher, even though.
Yeah, and we also had, you mentioned this is not a new problem.
Yeah.
You've seen it in the past, and also recently, for those who have been keeping up with the news, there was a tour group who also got cheated out of all their money. They're trying to still find compensation because the airline got suspended as well, and everyone's pointing their finger saying, no, it's the ticketing agent, no, it's the airline, it's this, it's that. So, you know, there does need to be some measures put in place to ensure, number one, absolutely that the airlines are operating safely, whether or not they're still in debt or not. And number two, you know, that the passengers are being treated fairly and according to good business.
Which is all part of the whole world IATA scheme, so they have to make sure that these people can comply.
Absolutely. Well, kind of in line with making sure that our tourism is looking good, we all know about those famous tourist spots here in Thailand, especially here in Bangkok, looking at Pat Pong and Khao San Road. RCA as well, for those who have a little nightclub atmosphere out there. Well, the police are launching these areas to be safety zones. Now, I would have hoped that prior to this that they were safe to begin with, but obviously there have been some complaints, especially there are some gangs out there who are kind of preying on tourism, obviously, tourists ganging up on them. So they're going to make these areas into safety zones where tourists can go, they can feel that safe, there'll be extra patrols going around, tourists will be able to speak, as we covered in a previous story, police who will be able to speak fluent English. We'll see if that actually goes in there. And they're actually hoping with the success of this project to expand it to places like Pattaya and also Phuket as well, because obviously one of the major concerns here in terms of tourism is our image, and a lot of especially if we look at Pattaya, we know of all the scamming that's going down there and the huge impact it's had on the tourism.
So what's happening to make it a safety zone, apart from just calling it one?
Well,
That's the question.
according to the report, you know, they'll have some stepped up patrols as well to make sure that it's not only policing the people who are there, but it's preventing other groups of undesirables entering the area.
But like you said right at the outset of this story, you know, you would have thought that because it is these areas are so highly populated with tourists, that there would be something in place that would actually, and the numbers would increase with the number of tourists increasing. So, to be honest with you, I haven't read a lot in the press, in the English language press, about too many problems in the area, but clearly there are problems that the government needs to address. So go down there. It is safe anyway, but you'll be safer in the future.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I guess that tourists come up against a lot of scams and stuff, but I mean, from locals and people who live here, the biggest comment is that actually Bangkok is a really safe place to live. Like, you
Sure
don't
is.
feel like, you know, there's something around the corner. It's gonna.
There's so many millions of people around, you know.
Yeah.
Unless you go up to a side street to the end of an alley and then wait for somebody to come along, you know, you should be pretty safe.
yeah, well, a lot of it's just common sense. I mean, it's not just Bangkok; it's any major city throughout the world.
that's true.
You know, if you have to keep your wits about you. You have to understand which places are safe to go, what time of night traveling alone, making sure you don't have money out and visible for everyone to see. So I think a little a little effort from both sides, the education as well should go a long way.
Yeah. And always, if you're a tourist, you have to do your background research
Before.
and know what you're getting into when you're going to a new place. So that's kind of due diligence. Anyway, our final talk of the town is about also looking out for the public interest, and it is about stepping up the tobacco laws. Now, Thai health experts are saying that there is way too much underage smoking going on. The current tobacco law says that you have to be 18 in order to buy cigarettes. But according to recent research that they've done with underage smokers, 74% of them said that they have never even had to show ID in order to buy cigarettes, and that they also get their cigarettes from other underage smokers as well. So 10% of the people who are smokers at the moment are underage smokers, and they're hoping to reduce this number by putting up the age for buying tobacco products up from 18 to 20 years old.
Wow.
But you voted 18 years old here, right?
Yes.
Makes sense to me? Don't think so. I mean, the reality is that it's always the younger generation that come in on the drinking. It's always the younger generation that come in on the smoking. This is a worldwide problem. And certainly we should try to curtail it. But I think the point that Johanna always makes is, where are the parents?
Exactly.
You know, the problem is that they don't have time for the kids today, so that they don't know for half of the day what the kids are doing. And you know, it doesn't matter who smokes, whatever, you can smell it. It's the most repulsive smell, but you can smell it. So you must know if your kids are smoking, just you've got to stop it.
Well, if you look at any of the other anti-smoking campaigns that are out there, you know, obviously they have the graphic images on the packs of cigarettes themselves. They restrict the visibility of them within shops. But you know, as Tara mentioned in the story, you know, looking at the young people out there who aren't legally able to buy cigarettes, they're going to find them if they want them.
Sure.
They're going to have an older brother, an older sister, or a friend,
Yes.
someone where they can get them from. So you have to look at it not just from a restrictive or prohibitive measures, but you have to look at it from an education standpoint. And parents play a huge role in this. Schools, obviously, you got to look at who are influencing these kids.
It's very hard to control. Same thing as with drinking age. When you put it up, then people who are underage is going to buy it from someone else who's older and willing to sell it to them for a little bit more of a price. You know, that entrepreneurial brain starts to kick in. And
Exactly.
then there's always a loophole. So.
But certainly something has to be done. I mean, I guess that it would be interesting to get statistics as to those youngsters that start. And this has been going on for years and years. It's not just something new. In fact, how long do they really smoke for? What percentage continue to smoke? Because when you're young and you stand behind they usually stand behind the toilet block smoking away. Well, when they're doing that, you know, I mean, they're not going to do that forever and a day. So it'd be interesting to get some statistics to see how the numbers reduce after the first little buzz of having a cigarette, first year or two. Now, I understand we were going to talk about futsal, and Johan, you had the opportunity to go and talk about this worldwide event that we're paying very little attention to in Bangkok.
Well, you know, it's a great event. As we mentioned in the beginning of the program, Thailand has actually performed very well in the past World Cups. This is the first time being held here in Thailand. It's a great opportunity for the country to get a lot of international attention. We perform very well. It's a very fast-paced, exciting sport for everyone out there who loves football or soccer. For all us Americans out there, it's a great sport, and it's something that Thais perform out very well. And hopefully, with the facilities being completed on time, as we hope, you know, it's not only a chance to see sportsmanship, but also to be able to see Thailand in our tourist facilities as well.
Let's take a break and go to the talk.